And now returning to our story on the WTO, we have with us Dr. Jayant Dasgupta, who's a former Indian ambassador to the WTO. Thank you very much, Dr. Dasgupta. Now, is there consensus building up on public stockholding? We see that New Zealand is also supporting India's stand.
Well, it is still quite uncertain as to whether we will get something very positive on public stockholding in the ministerial declaration. But last minute efforts are on, and the ministerial conference final session has been now pushed back, and it is going to be held at 10 o'clock this evening, Abu Dhabi time, so which is about 11:30 Indian time. So we still have a few hours left. Parleys are going on, but apart from some language which is likely to, at the most optimistic, there could be some language which would be providing comfort to India and the other more than 80 countries which have supported this draft declaration on public stockholding, that by MC14, that is the next ministerial conference in 2 years' time, there would be a solution which the others, the total membership, will work out. So that is the best that we are hoping for, but we are keeping our fingers crossed.
Indeed. Now that, digital economy is so widespread, why is there still resistance to end this moratorium on digital tariffs?
Well, there are several issues. The first issue is that it has been going on since 1998, which is about 25 years plus. The second issue is that electronic commerce has also undergone many changes, and the work program, which is under the aegis of the WTO, that has been given the go-by, and a parallel joint statement initiative is being pushed forward, and through that the proponents, which are more than 80-90 countries, they want to have a kind of a plurilateral agreement which will they will try to again get into the WTO as an Annex 4 plurilateral agreement. Now, we already have seen the fate of the Investment Facilitation for Development initiative, which was also started at about the same time as a joint statement initiative. India, South Africa, and many other countries did not allow this to go forward because of various reasons. One of them being that it did not have a ministerial mandate to start with to initiate the negotiations. So India wants the Electronic Commerce Working Party again to be revitalized, which has been going on since 1998, but the proponents of the Joint Statement Initiative, they have really ignored it, and it has been not been used. So India wants to revive it, and this is actually India's India's stand is to revive multilateralism and not allow plurilateralism to be the main process of negotiating agreements in the WTO.
Dr. Dasgupta, how have China, Japan, the EU distorted the fishing trade? Now, is there some way, of stopping subsidies for them and continuing them for the smaller fisheries?
The problem there is slightly complicated because the developed countries and China and Taiwan and Korea, they have massively subsidized their fishing fleets. And these fishing fleets not only fish in their own respective exclusive economic zones of 200 nautical miles, they also fish in the exclusive economic zones of several countries which do not have the capacity to fish themselves. But the more dangerous part is that they have provided so much of capacity through subsidies to go and fish in the distant seas, which is beyond the exclusive economic zone of any country. Now, that is something which has not been touched by the current fisheries subsidies text. That distant water fishing, you can possibly keep on subsidizing your industrial fleets. Now, that is what India is objecting, and South Africa and many other countries are objecting to, because we are saying that a lot of fishing takes place and overfishing takes place in the distant seas. And in that case, there is no monitoring, nothing. And if we allow subsidization to continue at the same pace as it is being done now, it will lead to very dangerous depletion of stock. So what we have suggested is that for the next 25 years, the developed countries and whosoever was subsidizing industrial fleet building for distant water fishing, that should stop.
Okay. Dr. Dasgupta, is there any hope of the U.S. complying with, dispute resolution mechanism? They've been objecting to judges on the tribunal. What do you think?
The U.S. has been doing it since almost since 2016. And I don't see any change in the US attitude. At best, they have said that maybe they will try to find a solution by 2024, but which is end 2024. But that is also by way of, I think, placating the other side. Unless there is earnestness, and mind you, there is going to be an election in the US, and the new president will get elected in November this year, inaugurated in January next year. So a lot of things will change with the coming of the new president. Whether it is, if it is President Biden who comes in for a second term, then of course things may continue on an even keel. But even President Biden has not really done anything to restore the appellate body of the WTO to its previous status. So we can't really hope for much on that score unless there is a change of heart.
Dr. Dasgupta, also can the WTO just, concentrate on trade, or is everything too interlinked today? I mean, investment, climate change, and all these other issues.
If there are separate fora, for instance, if for climate change, there is a separate fora. So it is better not to mix up everything and bring it into the fold of the WTO. One of the reasons why many countries want to bring in issues in the WTO is because it used to have a very effective two-tier dispute resolution system, and it had teeth, so to say. But since the appellate body has become dysfunctional, that teeth is not being used or not possible to be used. So to that extent, I think the attraction of the WTO has got reduced. But having said that, I think on investment, there is also this broader issue that it is not part of trade relations for which the WTO was constituted, and which is mentioned in the Marrakesh Agreement, which sets up the WTO. So that is something which the members can decide. They can, if they want to, they can change even the Marrakesh Agreement by following the due process which has been laid down. But before that, I think to confuse all these issues, and then you can also, there are countries which want labor standards, which want gender, which want MSMEs to be also brought into the WTO for discussions and for possible agreements. Now that is going to take away the main thrust of the WTO to provide market access, to provide an opportunity for all countries, all its members, but specifically also for the poorest amongst the countries to get their due share of global trade and benefit from that.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Dr. Jayant Dasgupta, former Indian ambassador to the WTO, for clearing many of our doubts and helping us understand the difficulties in WTO negotiations.